Thank you.
County crews laying gravel roads, performing scheduled maintenance on tandem trucks, graveling Coon Valley and Sac Township, making several driveway repairs in Wheeler Township, scheduling several directional bores to install some tile drains, Section 34 Jackson Township, Section 22 Richland Township. These tile hookups should take place at the end of the week. Pothole patching on hard surface roads was completed until more show up. Any road issues, comments?
Ron, going down the N14 on this pothole patching, why did we elect to do that style versus the cement repair?
Well, we will be doing some full depth patching too, but some of the places we were just trying to seal up to keep the water from getting.
Oh, so that's what you're doing with that process.
This is temporary.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's trying to seal them up to keep them from getting worse. Sometimes, you know, you might get an extra 3 or 4 or 5 years out of them. Okay. With that product.
I mean, right, some of those spots are where we've put an asphalt repair is not, well, it almost butts up to a cement repair that we've done in the last several years. So I wondered why.
I mean, they tried to fill up some of those. There's just so many of them where they were already sunk down and they were trying to level them off. And the cold patch material is the other thing they've used, but it doesn't stick as good.
This stuff sticks pretty good.
It does a pretty good job. I mean, out here on M50 north of 20, it's probably been, I want to say 4 years ago, right north of the intersection, probably the first 200 feet, the outside 3 foot was really starting to go to, that was an asphalt road, and it was really starting to go to pot and sink down, and we used that Durapatch on that section there, and it stayed pretty good shape. It's still pretty decent shape. I mean,
okay. Well, I just noticed the differences, and having an asphalt fix right to a cement repair patch, that we've done in previous years,
and some of them, probably won't hold, and they will break up again right away depending on the base underneath, because it's just sort of a surface seal, but it does stick better.
Okay.
There were just so many of them this year that rather than buy a truckload of cold patch and go out and throw, try to tack it, throw cold patch in, and there were just so many of them. I thought this was a better, fix, and hopefully a little longer term on some of them.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. They've done quite a bit on the road that goes by place M68, and they're holding pretty good.
And
there's a lot of little holes.
And they'd be considerably less noticeable if it wasn't a cement. If you're repairing an asphalt, you probably wouldn't even notice so much. But on a cement road, they do stick out.
They'll lighten up with time, but they'll still look darker. Item 2, Vogel Traffic Services. They completed centerline markings and are working on the stop bars and edge lines on the curves and bridges. New Highway 20, I received a draft of the pre-construction agreement from Tony Lazarovich with the DOT, and I'll get copies of that to you guys to review. It just came in the mail yesterday afternoon. Basically, the agreement goes through and talks about each intersection and what, how far back on each intersection that they will grade, and how wide the road is, how wide the surfacing is, and then
will those on the secondary road, gravel road circumstances, that they'll leave that pretty much 100% when they're done? I mean, we're not going to have to go back and do some repair where it meets the new construction.
Any construction costs, they'll take care of all the construction costs. I mean, like on the gravel roads, I think their plan shows because they'll taper back however far they need to bring the grade up to the new highway. And I think the grading project will give you a road bed that's 28 foot wide, which in a lot of cases is wider than what's there now. And then they'll put 24 foot of granular surfacing on that road. I mean, there'll probably be a little bit of, as we blade it, there'll be, some tie-in that needs to just, blade the gravel back and forth. If there's a definite issue with something that wasn't done right during construction, we'll probably get them to come back and pay for that cost. But, the only thing we do get stuck with on the project is when they close down, say like when they close M54 north of Sac here, they will do the road closure. They'll do the signage at the end of the mile that says it's closed. But we end up, we're responsible for putting up the detour signs for detouring traffic wherever we decide to run the detour. So there's a little bit of cost there for going out and getting signs put up and taking them down. And the one thing, I guess, when I get that to you and you read through there, the one thing to think about, in Calhoun, we had, I don't think it got written in the agreement, but there was understanding beforehand that they would not close 2 consecutive roads while they're doing the grading project, so that, if you're trying to get across New 20, you just had to go a mile either way to get across. And of course, on gravel roads, we don't set up detours. The first people know is, they drive up to it and they see a sign, road closed. Although we do have, through the Service Bureau, we've got a road closure notification tool that we've used in Calhoun County. We set up all the schools, the post office, I'm trying to think who else we had on that list. But when the contractor calls and says he's going to close the road, then we send a notice out, and it sends an email and or a fax to like the schools, post office, so that they can be aware that they might have to adjust their bus routes, for that road being closed. We did put in the one agreement from Highway 4 to Moreland that they could not have consecutive paved roads closed. They happen to have forgotten to include that in their construction documents, and so it's causing them some heartburn now, because we're saying the agreement said you can close both of them. They moved in a couple weeks ago and said, "Oh, we're going to close these 2 roads." No, you aren't. And so they're trying to work with the contractor and work things out so that we're satisfied with what they're doing and yet not hold the project up too much. But I think we need to look at doing the same thing in Sac County. I haven't really looked at the roads all that close yet, but
we got 3.
I would not want to have
N28, N14, and N54.
And
M52.
M50. I would not want to have both M54 and N14 closed at the same time. Because all of a sudden you're sending traffic a long ways.
Yeah.
Either way to get around. So I'll probably talk to DOT too. I'm not sure what they do with when they reconstruct like 71 over to Irvingville, whether they would detour that traffic someplace else while they're doing that intersection, or whether they will stage it. Have you seen some of these projects where they actually build a
Just full asphalt
side road and do a runaround, and they can do that,